What's up, you guys? Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. As each week I discuss for you guys politics and the upcoming Democratic presidential candidates. But this week I'm not discussing politics, okay, you guys. This week we have too many subjects that are at hand. One of the subjects I've been talking about so far is about George Floyd. I know you guys have seen the media. I've been watching faithfully CNN and watching MNBC and whatever station, ABC or whatever, that I can watch to find the latest information about the protest that's been going on nationwide. And I hope you guys have been following it too. I want to just say one thing. Like I said in my last video, I commend my hat is off to all the young people that were out there protesting. Thank you, okay, young people. I was so happy to see a lot of young people in the 21st century today out there protesting for African Americans, because you guys didn't have to do that. I mean, there were African American protesters, there were white people protesters, Asian, Hispanic protesters. I mean, I thank you, because we need you guys. We need young people out there, okay, and actively involved, and not just for protesting, but voting at the polls, okay. We need you guys, so I thank you and I commend you guys for that. Now I want to discuss a little bit more information about George Floyd. I know you guys have been hearing about it all over the media, and so have I, but I want to talk about the old man who was knocked down during the protest of George Floyd. Did you guys see that? I mean, you guys, I saw that and I was just like, wow, this is an elderly white male, okay? He's laying on the ground, and two Buffalo, cops knocked the poor old man down to the ground. It was awful to see that. I mean, their names are Aaron Torgowski and Robert McCabe. I guess I'm saying their name right. They both are now facing felony charges, okay? They are, according to CNN, for knocking this old man down. Now, you guys, if you were watching the video like I was, it clearly showed the poor old man bleeding out of his ears and his head. I mean, he laid there helplessly on the ground, for God's sakes, and nobody was doing anything about it. They just walking past. The officers just kept on walking past and bullying the protesters like they normally do. Like as if this poor old man is not down there in pain from a head injury and his ears bleeding. That was just ridiculous. It's supposed to be America, and they're just doing stuff like that. But yet these are supposed to be our officers that are supposed to be there to protect us. Now, the man was 75 years old, and in the video, as I watched officers walk right past him like he wasn't there, I just kept thinking to myself, like, over and over again, unbelievable. I know you guys see him down there. Like, really? But in a way, it didn't shock me as much, because we already dealing with the whole protest is about an officer, pretty much committing a hate crime against this African American male. So we're already dealing with police brutality. So in a way, sorry to say, it's not so surprising, okay? Now, CNN stated that Mayor Brian Brown tried to justify this whole incident, stating that one of the officers, Martin Gugino, I guess I'm saying his name right, is an agitator, according to the police officer. Okay, now let's think about what he said, you guys. Agitator, okay? He claimed that the officers were only trying to clear the scene. That's what he claimed. Now, the video clearly showed that the officers proceeding after this incident, and this old man, he later was hospitalized. I mean, in the hospital. Can you imagine that? It's crazy. This whole incident just proves how cops have to be held accountable for their actions. Now, I was just thinking about this whole incident, and I was telling myself, I have a 72-year-old father, okay? I don't know about you guys, but my father's 72. Now, I was thinking, what would I do if my father, if he was in this kind of incident, if he was protesting and he was out there, and my father's a military veteran, and he was a sergeant in the military. So I can't even imagine. I know me. I don't know about you guys. I know me. I would be pissed. I would be probably screaming at the officers, going off, not understanding for the life of it of why on earth these officers are walking past this elderly man and don't do anything to help him. Not even pick him up off the ground, for God's sakes. So I would be furious. I would be really pissed off, and somebody would have to pay for not helping my father, and somebody would have to pay for pushing my father down. So it couldn't be me, because if it was me, I mean, I would have been really going off, snapping on somebody, okay? Because that was ridiculous. There's no excuse for that. Now, you know, this veteran, you know, the police officer, I'm sorry, he just ignored him. You know, he just really did. There is no way I would still, you know, be sitting there or standing up or whatever, protesting and letting this happen. You know, like other protesters were still walking past. So it wasn't just the police, it was also protesters walking past and not saying a word. But I am glad to hear that there were charges that were brought up against these officers. I was very glad to hear that. That's the latest news. And so I'm like, good, because the officers, they all that were walking past, to me, in my opinion, they all need to be held accountable for walking past this man. They need to look at the video again and look at all the officers that actually saw this man laying down. I'm sure there's several, and they all need to be held accountable, and charges need to be brought up against all of them, okay, that walked past this man, because I know they saw him. Now, what about Breonna Taylor? Let's go to another subject right now, okay? Do you guys remember her? The young lady was shot by officers while lying in her bed. Can you believe this? Okay, imagine laying in your bed, you're going to sleep at night, you're at home where it's supposed to be a safe place for you to sleep, right? And then all of a sudden, you hear a kick, and somebody kicks in the door, and the officers come in, and they're shooting at you while you're laying in bed. You don't know what to think. You're like, what in the world? So what would you do? Okay, this was the incident that happened with Taylor. Taylor and her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, were found sleeping on March 3rd when their apartment was raided by officers in plain clothes in Louisville, Kentucky. The officers came to the place of residence with a no-knock warrant. Now, the no-knock warrant, of course, for those of you who do not know, I'm sure a lot of you already know, is exactly that, where they do not knock on the door, they come unannounced, and they come creep up on you, and next thing you know, your house is being raided, and your door is being kicked in, and they shoot or whatever, you know, if they feel like their life is in jeopardy, so they say, because a lot of officers feel like, oh, my life was in jeopardy, and that's why I start shooting. At least that's what a lot of their excuses are. So after Walker called, this is what happened. Walker, now, he was Taylor's boyfriend. He calls 911, okay, and reported a break-in. That's what her boyfriend did, not knowing that they were going to come in and shoot his girlfriend. I don't think he would have called 911 if he had have known that they were going to come in and did what they did and kick in the door and shoot at his girlfriend and him. But that's what they did. They came in immediately, started shooting inside the residence, killing Breonna Taylor, whom was a healthcare worker, may I add. She wasn't a thug. She wasn't a gang member. She didn't steal nothing from nobody. She was a healthcare provider. She was an EMT worker, matter of fact, and she was only 26 years old. When I was thinking about that, now I was thinking about, I have a daughter that just turned 24 May 29th. She just had a birthday. My other daughter's 20. Now, if that was my daughter, I probably would have been in a crazy home right now and strapped me up in a chair, because I would have went off. You're not going to come in my house, kick in my door, and shoot at my daughter. I probably would have shot back. I don't know about you, but as a mother, the first thing we think of is protect our youngins, you know, protect our children. So there's no way on earth I would let some officers, I don't care who they are, come in my house, kick in unannounced at the wrong address, especially because that's what happened in this case. These officers were at the wrong location. That's what happened. They were doing a drug bust, okay, so they say, of narcotics that they thought was in at the location, and they proceeded with just going ahead with the no-knock warrant. And tragically, they ended the life of Taylor, who will never see her family again. She will never see her mother. She will never see her father if they are alive. She would never see any of her, if she have any siblings, I'm not sure. But she would never see any of her family again, because they took her life away from her because of a mistake that they made that cost her life. Something has to be done, you guys. You don't see, if you guys don't see what's going on here, okay, there has to be some more laws against these officers that are making mistakes causing their lives, and the officers that are not making mistakes and knowing right from wrong and still doing wrong. They need to be held accountable for what they do and put up on charges as well. Okay. But that's what's going on. It couldn't have been me though, because like I said, if that was me, officers would, they would really catch it, because there's no way you're gonna go in my house and do that. No way on earth. No way would I allow, officers come in there and kick my door in and just take my daughter's life. They would definitely have to be held accountable for their actions. So, what do you guys think about this? I'm going to leave that with you. I don't want to make this too long, but let's talk about it. What would you do in a situation? What would you do if you was George Floyd? Or if you was somebody that was standing there, out there when the incident happened, where the elderly guy fell on the ground? What would you do? Let me know. Please leave a comment in the comment section. I would like to hear from you guys. There's no right or wrong answers. We're talking about it. We're all adults. Please be considerate of this video. I don't want no cursing, swearing, or something that's very inappropriate. So let's please be respectful, okay? And follow me every week on YouTube under LaShawn Bridges. I will definitely start posting more videos. So please keep in touch, and see you next time.